This is the Gaming Buzz Podcast, where ranting about video games somehow equals content.
Hello and welcome to the Gaming Buzz Podcast. My name is Jacob. I'm joined by Jason.
Hello.
And Christian. Hello. And so I did not pick today's topic. Typically we go together and decide a topic, or I would just pull something and go, I don't know, let's talk about this. We've occasionally gone off of user suggestions. You know, our fans go, hey, you should do this. But today, Jason really wanted to talk about something specific. We even hinted at it in our last podcast episode. Check that out if you haven't done so. Look at that. Plug in our other content. That's how you succeed at life. So why don't you tell us what we're doing and why?
I'm going to trash a lot of people's favorite game, mainly the rating system behind it.
So you're talking about?
Pokemon.
Do you just not like Pokemon? Are you a Pokemon hater? Do you not like Gen 1? What the hell is wrong with you?
This is not a statement that I do not like it, just that it should be more mature than what it is.
Oh, so we're talking about Pokemon's a little more dark than they like to let on. Huh?
Yes.
There are lots of examples of that, but I really wish that someone at one of these tables here had a list of things to talk about. Ooh, do I have something? No, I don't. Christian, do you have something like that?
No.
Jason?
I do.
Oh, wow, someone's prepared. Whew. This is a nice change of pace. So why don't we go over your list then, and I'll tell you if those things are total BS or if, you're onto something.
Well, precursor. Friend of mine, Adam, goes by name Battle on Xbox, helped me with part of this list. Some of this comes from a report that he did on this game. Some of it is stuff that I did manage to add based on suggestions that I talked about with people at work. Big first one, abandonment. Your mother basically gives you her goodwill to go out into the world and catch these Pokemon.
At 10 years old.
Yep, and no problem with it whatsoever. And it's almost every game.
We know, though. We know. It's because she wants to go and have some fun, happy times with the professor of that region.
Right. Though, after she lets you go, you partake in kidnapping by capturing Pokemon against their will.
I prefer to think of it as slavery, but
you make them fight to the death, which is akin to slavery or cockfighting.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the game is glorified cockfighting. You're trespassing and breaking and entering. I mean,
all the time.
You go into people's houses, buildings, take their crap. Keep going.
Even search through their garbage sometimes. That's not creepy.
Well, you can't anymore, but...
Well, you can still look. You just
right.
don't find anything.
Because you can only carry 6 Pokemon. The rest of them go into basically a storage box. It's neglect.
I have a counter to that, but I think we'll go over the counters after you're done. Let's just keep going.
You take money from other trainers after you beat them. Bullying.
No, man. They say it's prize money.
Yo, you better give me that prize money.
Illegal
upside down.
Illegal trafficking. You can buy or sell your captured Pokemon who you just kidnapped. Forced breeding. It's not like you say, hey, then mutual attraction. You just put them there and gambling.
What's the gambling? Okay.
Vigilantism.
Right. Stopping the evil trainers instead of letting the authorities take care.
Right. You never ask, so you just do it. Animal cruelty. Because you have to beat them up. And then dark, depressing backstories, I think, is one of the biggest points.
All right, so why don't we go over each of those in detail then? Right back to the top of the list.
Abandonment. From
the mother.
Right.
/ father. Because there's only one generation of Pokemon where you actually see the father, and that's Gen 3, and he's just like, hey, I know we just moved to this strange new region, and you've only been here for a day, but I'm going to go move 4 cities over. What is with the Pokemon games and not having a strong family tie?
Well, they do. It's in Pokemon.
Right. You're there like, I don't want to raise you. That Pidgey over there is going to raise you.
Pretty much.
It's really weird. 10 years old, they expect us to go out into the wilderness and survive on our own and blah, 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 blah. What were you doing at 10 years old?
Playing games.
Yeah, playing games and not really caring about life and certainly not knowing how to live on your own.
Right. School.
Mm-hmm. However, in Pokemon Sun and Moon's defense, they have retconned it and made it a lot more acceptable because you're now 11.
Ooh.
Oh, damn.
No, it's still pretty ridiculous. I don't think it's the most bad thing per se. You know, I don't think it's necessarily bad that they do this because, you know, it is a fantasy thing and, you know, it's so kids can imagine themselves as those characters, not say, hey, you got to wait till you're an adult to go on an adventure. Say, hey, you can go on an adventure right now. What do you think, Christian?
I think that I still find it weird that there's no father in the other in the other games. Just like, hello, I'm mom. Goodbye.
Yep. There are a few generations where I believe they mention your father, but most of them they're oddly absent. And of course, that has led to the theory that it's always Professor Oak.
And then you have the anime with Ash just being like, just mom, Pikachu,
Yep.
the professor.
Every time they flash back to Professor Oak doing something, oddly enough, his mom's there. He's like, hey, I just finished Kalos. Where should I go now? And he's like, Mom, why are you on vacation with Professor Oak? That's kind of weird. Yeah, they're totally doing it. Come on. So what's next then?
Kidnapping.
Yeah, I don't really have an argument against this one. I always find it really it's always kind of sat a little bad on me how like the Pokemon's like, I don't want to be with you so much that I'm going to try and injure you. And then you magically throw a little ball at them and they immediately stop resisting you forever. That's straight up mind control.
Slavery and cockfighting was point 3.
Okay. Yeah, no argument against that one. Is it okay if you're like, yo, I cockfight, my roosters fight each other, but I take really good care of them afterwards? No.
Nurse Joy is happy.
Yeah, we hope to see you again soon.
Trespassing and breaking and entering, there really isn't.
I guess my one argument against that one is, yo, come on. That's a standard in all RPGs, and even a lot of video games that aren't RPGs. You know, it's not. I mean, look at Skyrim.
Right, but Skyrim was also rated mature.
Right. But plenty of other E-rated games do that, not because it's, you know, saying, hey, kids, you can go steal and do what you want. It's, I guess, mainly just because of convenience.
Right.
You know, it's a lot easier to build a game that way. I mean, first game that comes to mind is Dragon Quest, which I played Dragon Quest 9, and you loot everything from everyone. It just how the game works, and there are plenty of games that do that.
This is the one that you seem to have a problem with, neglect.
No, straight up, it was neglect. It always kind of rubbed me the wrong way, though they tried to retcon outside of the game's, you know, reasons for that. One of them was, hey, inside that Pokeball is just a perfect paradise for them to live in. Or, hey, when they're in the PC, yo, it's just super happy. But we never saw that, so you can always assume that's not necessarily the case.
Well, if it's a party in the Pokeball, then why would they even want to come out of the Pokeball to fight for you?
Because mind control.
I mean, we have
But
Pokepalago
exactly
right now.
what I was getting to. You explain it.
Well, Pokepalago, if you have Pokemon on your PC, they just get like orbed into a little island, and then you just like take care of them or put them relax or train.
It's a new feature for Sun and Moon. So all your box Pokemon, instead of them just being in a box, you see them on these basically resort islands hanging out waiting for you to use them. And, you know, there's steam baths and there's these caves for them to explore. Seems pretty nice. And beans for them to eat. Beans. So, I mean, like, if I was a Pokemon in that situation, if there was no mind control, I don't think I'd mind too much. Because beans.
So wait, what about Pokemon that are willingly want to be captured by the trainer?
So, like, what's a good example of that?
I don't know, maybe we can, like, from the animation, we can take that as an example. Sometimes some Pokemon, they're like, yeah, I want to be with you. Like Sun and Moon lately, Rowlet just decided to be in Ash's backpack.
Rowlet's just like, "Burr, I want to join you and be your burb.
Pretty much. Or, well, I know it's just the animators and the writers just saying, trying to get the plot along. But yeah.
Right. The problem is you don't see that in the games. I can't really think of any.
X and Y, there was the Lucario that really wanted to be with you.
And also in Black 2, White 2, I remember you befriending Zoroark and it actually choosing to go with you. That's really cool. I like seeing, it kind of sucks because it's story driven because, they have to program it to be that one Pokemon. It makes sense. And it wouldn't work for all Pokemon, but I like seeing them choose to be with you. Okay, what's next?
Bullying.
The funny thing with this is I never thought about this, but I was playing through Pokemon Sun. I was playing Pokemon Moon, and right in the beginning of the game, you have to go to a trainer school and fight trainers, and it's basically your tutorial for the game. And I was fighting a preschooler, and I beat them, and they gave me like $700, and I'm like, something's just not right about this. I don't know what, but something's not right about this. Option one, either you're bullying them, right? And you're stealing their money.
Yeah, give me your lunch money.
Option two, you're not, and it's a well-established thing that the economy runs on Pokemon battles, and that has its own problems. But most of all, a question just came up. Why does a preschooler have a whole bunch of money?
Parents are rich.
Parents are rich. Okay. So they just like, hey, kid, here, have a couple thousand $Poké because we think you're probably going to suck at Pokemon. Here you go.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Like, all of us, we play card games, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're very ingrained into us. Different card games for some of us, but they're fun. Has there ever been an occasion where like, oh, I lost. Here's $10.
I mean,
No, but there was Anti and Magic when Magic first started.
Right. But typically, especially when it's on a casual level, like, hey, I just randomly walked into this stranger. Let's compete against each other. You don't see that in real life. So why is the Pokemon economy based off of that?
Now you think about it when you walk around and then there's the Pokemon trainers that, they're like, hey, you stop. You must battle me. And you're like, but I just need to go to like the bathroom, man. I just
Can't
imagine
say no.
that situation.
They did not ask for your consent to battle.
That's why you beat them and take their money.
Yes, exactly.
But again, bullying.
Bullying. Yeah.
Next point was illegal trafficking.
How so?
Well, you trade away your captured Pokemon that you just captured against their will.
Right, and
Basically, you kidnapped something and then you sold it to somebody else or traded it to
there's
somebody
no
else.
regulation of that.
Right.
There's no centralized Pokemon government saying regulating your trades.
Yep.
Or making you have a license to make sure you can take care of those 1,000 Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Or how about the fact that there have been several times where you've actually seen in the Pokemon games, no joke, people selling their Pokemon for money, Patricarps. Happens in Gen 1, happens in Gen 5, I believe in Gen 6. You can buy Magikarps just off the street. Like, when was the last time someone offered to sell you a fish? A live fish?
When I was at a pet store.
Exactly. Someone who has a license to do so. Did that traveling Magikarp salesman have the proper licenses and IDs to make sure he could sell Pokemon?
Probably not.
I don't think so.
Maybe
we'll have to ask him.
Maybe in its pixelated pocket.
Yes. Use thief on him. Find his license and registration.
Next up is gambling.
Gambling. Yeah, I can see that. I've got 2 counters to the gambling in Pokemon. One, they have removed it in recent games. Several of your recent titles, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, XY, Sun and Moon, have no gambling whatsoever. Besides, gambling in combat using moves like metronome that are randomized, so you kind of gamble with what you get, but that's not gambling, exchanging money to maybe get more money. But earlier games definitely had that. 2, I don't care. I love it because the slot machines in Pokemon Red and Blue and Yellow and all of them games are really, really fun. That's my argument. Gambling's okay because it's fun.
Vigilantism.
I'd agree with you if the actual police forces in Pokemon weren't utterly useless.
Like in the latest game was that the police were like, oh, we just don't care. They're just a bunch of goofs.
Mm-hmm. Except for Nanu.
Yeah, except for him.
See, Jason, you don't really play that much Pokemon, right?
Not
Besides
anymore.
Pokemon Go.
Right.
You don't even know who the great being of Nanu is, do you?
Nope.
What a tier. Nanu's the best character in Sun and Moon. And he's a detective/cop, so... And, you know, he does help you. He's like, yo, help me take down the bad guys. And we're like, yeah, man, let's do it. And we've seen some other, like, private eye detectives, like Looker, throughout the series. But overall, the number of times where you see someone who's a police officer stop someone doing something bad is so few. I think there are more times where you see other Pokemon trainers dealing with things. Like, oh, what's that? Team Rocket is poisoning the water supply at the Lake of Rage and they're turning Pokemon crazy? Well, better send some random dragon-type trainer to go fix that.
Or you have like the Elite Four members taking care of like bad organizations.
Yeah, versus, you know, police, government, something.
Or the police are just battering little kids too.
Absolutely. And there are so many times they portray police in the game as being lazy. So maybe it's just actually some social commentary.
I'm going to skip animal cruelty, because animal cruelty can kind of go along with cockfighting.
Right. And, you know, also mentioning, hey, you don't have a license to have those 4,000 Pokemon that you can hold in your game. We didn't really check to make sure you could feed them. How does that work? Or, you know, you actually had the know-how to know, hey, I got a Charmander. Hey, by the way, if you let that Charmander's tail flame go out, it dies. So don't do that. Does anyone say that? No. So I can see it.
I've not skipped forced breeding. I'm just going to come back to it.
Yeah, that one I actually have a lot of thoughts on.
Before forced breeding, dark depressing backstories, which I know you guys have a lot more experience with than I do on the dark depressing ones.
Mimikyu. That's my favorite one.
Yeah,
There's so many.
No, I did read the backstory to Mimikyu. He is very depressing.
And if you watch the Pokemon animation, he's even worse. Because instead of being like, I'm so lonely, I'm going to dress like Pikachu and make myself feel better, then maybe some people will actually love me. He or she, I don't know. Both, it outright hates Pikachu and wants to murder it.
Yeah.
Yep. And then there's the ever classic Cubone. I'm sure you know the Cubone story.
Yeah,
the skull that it wears on its head is that of its dead mother's.
Yep, his mother's skull.
Dark? Pretty dark?
I know you were telling me about one that steals children.
Yep, Drifloon. Drifloon is the pedophile Pokemon. It's creepy. It's outright scary. Or Phantom. This Pokemon is created when a child gets lost in a forest for too long, and it's a ghost.
Then you have Shedinja, I believe.
He was the next one I was thinking. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know. Just, you talk. I just suggested.
Shedinja. If you stare at the crack in its back, it is likely it shall steal your soul. What else we got? There are a ton of them. Why are you so dark? Or one of my favorites, Kabutops. This Pokemon existed over 30 million years ago. Some number, I don't remember the exact number, sorry. It takes its prey, stabs them with its teeth, and then uses acid to dissolve their bodies. Rated E for everyone. Oh, the Pokemon lore is really dark, and over the years it's gotten darker and darker and darker.
But not everybody reads those backstories, which people overlook. The fact that it is super depressing
Yeah, I guess that's thinking back to when I was playing Pokemon as a kid. I didn't read the Pokemon.
No, you
entries.
just wanted to beat them up and capture them illegally.
Exactly. I wanted to be an illegal cockfighter / slave owner, apparently.
At 10.
At 10.
I think we're going to go back to forced breeding here.
Okay.
My thing with forced breeding, biggest thing behind it is that subconsciously it's basically teaching children the more kids you have, eventually you will get a good one.
As soon as you mentioned forced breeding the first time we ran through those, I had just a small feeling in my heart like, I'd do that. I thought back to just last week when I spent hours breeding hundreds of Snowruns because I wanted a competitive Frostlass in my Pokemon games, and I wanted it with a specific nature and good IVs, and it had to be female because only the females evolve into Frostlass, which is gender stereotypes. Come on, I want a female snow demon that is actually a dude. Why can't I have that? Come on. But I bred thousands of them, and what did I do with all the leftovers after I got that one that I wanted to keep? I used Wonder Trade to trade hundreds of them to random strangers.
Hey, those strangers must be very happy now.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you for making me feel like a terrible person.
Ruining your childhood.
Man.
Or adulthood, depending.
I'm sorry, Snowruns. I didn't have my license to keep you.
But yeah, forced breeding, like I said, you got that one that you were looking for after how many? Mm-hmm. Like, what's subconsciously that's saying to people?
It does look like Game Freak's trying to move us slowly towards not doing that. One of the big things people would, breed for eggs was for IVs, which were another thing I kind of don't like in the games. There's hidden stats for Pokemon that a Pokemon's given at birth when they're hatched or when they're generated first in the wild that are secret stats that basically act as the Pokemon's genes. So for someone who's scrawny or whatnot, they won't have a great attack gene. Same thing goes for Pokemon. So you can have a Pokemon with really bad genes, and you have to breed them to get good genes. That kind of rubs me the wrong way. But with Sun and Moon, once you have your Pokemon at level 100, yes, I know that's a long task, and it takes forever, you can, super train? Christian?
Hyper training. You need bottle caps.
And you get to hyper train, and you can actually increase their IV stats. That's nice, so you don't have to, throw out that lovable Pokemon you've had because it just doesn't have good genes. Like, that's getting into eugenics. That's not cool. You got anything else?
I had a friend who tried to argue that was teaching good genetics, and I'm like, it's the same thing.
Yeah, that's eugenics, man.
Yeah, it's like, good genes is the same as the more you have, eventually you'll have a good one.
Yeah, not a great message, but in all seriousness, here's the thing. Yeah, there's some things they could do better, but overall, for a children's series, Pokemon is rather good at teaching some good values and, teaching people, I learned math from Pokemon. I learned how to research things from Pokemon because, what are the best skills or moves for this Pokemon to have? I learned how to do synergy, strategy from Pokemon. I learned lots of great things that are useful later in life. If there are a couple bad lessons, like my horrible addiction to gambling and video games, well, I guess par for the course.
Like in Borderlands 2?
I spent hundreds of hours playing the slot machines in Borderlands 2. I have a problem.
I wouldn't say who didn't. But no, with Pokemon, it should at the very least be rated teen.
I think E10 and up is probably fine.
No, I think it's been approaching teen unless they're starting to dial it back.
Yeah, I think E10 and up is the best spot for Pokemon games right now with how their current, system is. They got rid of the gambling, which was kind of controversial, though I personally miss it. It's out of the games. And, that was for multiple reasons, not just because some people didn't like their kids gambling, but also due to, some religions having gambling outlawed and whatnot, and it caused some problems with that. So they got rid of it.
See, religion in Pokemon, I don't get it.
Yeah. That's a whole other can of worms.
I was going to say, there's cults in Pokemon, isn't there? There's cults in Pokemon, isn't there?
Yeah.
See? So,
I mean, Pokemon does have their own god, so that's another can of worms we probably shouldn't open on this show.
see, even more points to be like,
Yeah, to add to Jason, like you said, like a god Pokemon, and you have the legendaries. They're like very powerful Pokemon inside a little 10-year-old's pocket.
Yeah.
It's like,
I am the god of the Pokemon world.
basically, that's what you're doing when you're fighting the Elite Four, so.
But I also think that you can twist anything to make it look terrible. There are some things I'd rather not have to do, like, mass breeding Pokemon. That kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But other things like, hey, do you bully kids to take their money because you beat them in Pokemon?
Oh, yeah.
If they just explain that better, I'd be fine with it. Hey, it's a common courtesy in the Pokemon world if you lose to give the other player money. But then you have to do that in competitive play as well. If I lose to Christian in a super hardcore Pokemon battle, I better give him 10,000 Poké-dollars.
yeah, man. And if you don't have that money, then you'll just black out.
Oh. Because you punched me in the face?
Sure.
All right. Do you guys have any final thoughts?
I covered my list.
Christian?
Well, like you said, you can take anything and turn the other cheek and just be like, it means something different. That's how religion makes Pokemon seem evil for some reason.
Hey, you know what?
I don't know how you can turn some of this.
Hey, you know what? I wasn't force breeding Snoruns and making a whole bunch of them. I was saving an endangered species and distributing it to people who would care for them.
Oh, there you go.
You can turn anything into not being bad. It's
Okay, so capturing Pokemon against their will.
They actually do want to be with you, but they've gone jungle crazy.
Abandonment?
Screw it. They sucked.
Cockfighting?
It's fun.
Breaking and entering?
I knocked on the door.
They didn't stop me. They were right there when I was looting through their things. They could have said, hey, man, can you not do that? Like, at least in the Legend of Zelda series, there's some characters who, like, you smash their pots, they're like, yo, why'd you do that? You better pay for replacement pots. That's irresponsible.
Dark, depressing backstories.
I like them. I think they add some real character to the game. I don't think every Pokemon should have them, and I think Sun and Moon especially went a little too far. But they're nice things and nice little rewards, nuggets of information that actually get people talking about the Pokemon. Yo, man, did you know that Victory Bell dissolves Pokemon in its stomach? That's weird, but now I really want a Victory Bell. So, yeah.
It's for those Lord people that really love, putting the whole story together.
I guess it goes on a... See, I think rating scales are a great thing, but I also think it comes down to personal preference from parents. One of my rules when I have children will be that, not just because I want to, but I will play all the video games first before my kids get to. Because I'm not going to go, oh, this game's rated E, you can play that. Oh, this game's rated M.
I think he lies. This kid's totally going to grow up with a controller in his hand regardless of the game.
Well, yes. I'm going to have him play GTA 7 right from the cradle. No, but I think, what the system is rating, I was using the English scale. There are a whole bunch of American scale. There are a whole bunch of ones. I'm kind of familiar with Peggy's rating scale, all that kind of stuff. But they're all subjective. There isn't a fact this game shouldn't be played by children. It comes down to the child's nature. I mean, I know plenty of people who, at 8 years old loved watching horror movies and they didn't affect them at all. Meanwhile, I wouldn't be able to sit through one, So it's kind of subjective, and I think it's really up to the parents' discretion. Thoughts on that?
Oh, I mean, it's always up to them. I mean, I've been doing the game industry for long enough.
I just don't like when parents buy GTA to a little kid, and I'm just like, why? Then they become a brat.
Yeah, I can kind of get behind that. But, to each their own.
Right.
Do you guys have any final thoughts? Are we ready to turn this around so our viewers can let us know what they think about this topic?
Let the hate flow through them.
Yo, guys, let us know if you think Jason's overreacting and he's a scrub and he doesn't play Pokemon, so screw him. Or if you think those are some valid points that maybe could use some addressing and some communication with Game Freak.
Should they change the E rating to T?
Or should they maybe just say, hey, what you're doing right now is okay because of this reason, Who knows? That being said, if you guys enjoyed this video, press that like button. Leave us a comment below telling us what you found not okay in Pokemon, what you think was overreacted to.
Or anything on the list I may have missed.
And don't forget to subscribe to Gaming Buzz if you haven't done so. Why wouldn't you have? You should have done that like 5 minutes ago, right? Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Several months ago.
Oh, wow. Jason, look at you being proactive. All right, well, that's it for us, so I'm going to say goodbye. See you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Did you like that? Of course you did. You can get more at gamingbuzz.com. Let us know what else you want by connecting with us on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube.